Well, I couldn't resist the urge to tell you the end of my story for all of those who wanted to know was there life after the pain. Woo, what's up, everybody out there? I want to say again, thank you for clicking that thumbnail over here at Patti LaBelle. Welcome, you new viewers, returning viewers, and you subscribers. And you new viewers and returning viewers, go ahead on and hit that subscribe button. And everybody hit the like button as well as leave comments. We're talking about some of our favorite musicians of all times. You know you like them. You know you got a story. Yes, tell me what you like about them. You can tell me what you don't like about them. It is what it is over here. And speaking of stories to tell, baby, do I have a story to tell you. I mean, this is a true story. Like, it's not made up. First of all, shout out to Television. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate support over here. Thank you so much for the love. And I'm sending it right back at you. If I recall correctly, you mentioned that your mother wanted me to talk about Betty Wright. And you guys know, if you don't know by now, then you should know, for me, it's all about a feel, right? I just have to be in that mood and in that feel to just really talk to you guys about it, because I'm here to tell you, I just don't go and read off a script or anything like that. That's not what I do over here, right? I just pretty much let it flow, and I would like for you to flow right back at me. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, so let me tell you about this real story. It's a Betty Wright story. And I wish she was here, still living, to, hear this story. I think she'll appreciate it. Anywho, so in my hometown, there was this club in my hometown, and I'm trying to set the stage. So picture it, Sicily, 19. No, just kidding. But picture it, like I'm trying to paint a picture for you. This club in my hometown, young and older people went to. Like, people took their kids to this club, but it's not what you think, okay? It's not like they were actually hanging out clubbing, with their children, like their young kids. No, but it was a club. So it could be, I don't know, a typical weekend. And let's just say around noon on a Saturday or Sunday. My mother would load us up in the car, and she would tell us, like, hey, we're about to go over here and we're about to watch, the baseball teams, this, that, and the other. And we was like, wow, we knew what that meant, right? That meant fun, okay? We knew we were going to have fun. We were going to socialize. Again, I'm about 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years of age. Once she said we was going to go watch, the baseball games, it's just what it was. So anyway, load us up in the car. We went, to the club. And now in front of the club, so there's a street, of course. One side was the club. The other side was the baseball field. And, of course, local people in the community and in the surrounding areas, they, competed baseball games. They had baseball teams. So just imagine cars being parked, on the side of the street, cars parked in the parking lot at the club, all right? And some people are literally at the fence watching the baseball games, while other people are actually sitting on the truck of their cars watching the baseball game. You see people walking up and down the streets, up and down in the parking lot. The club was down the street from a residential area, and people in the residential area could easily just walk down and watch, the baseball game. So it was a lot of people, okay? Now, in this club, there were 3 things. There was the owner's wife. Well, the husband and the wife, they owned the club together. You can go in there and get you a fire hamburger, all right? Like, she was known. Both of them have passed. However, it was, get you some fire hamburger, all right? 2, it was a pool hall inside the club. So you can go in there and you can play pool. And there was something else in the club, a jukebox. And for me, I was excited about going because, of course, I got to see, some of my friends who, I was in school with, and, just socialize with, my sisters and brothers, of course. But I was going in there to get some candy and to go straight to that jukebox. All right. So I asked my mom for some money. She already knew what I was up to. And I would go in the club and I would put my money in the jukebox and I would play No Pain, No Gain. All right. I'm like 10 years old, 10, 11, 12 years old. Now, when I would stand at the jukebox, I would play the song. And of course, the older people, who would come down, and mind you, we're young, so we're thinking our parents are old. They're really not old, of course, late 20s, early 30s, so on and so forth. Some of them probably, late 20s, early 30s. And so they're coming down, because once you come into the club, in order to get to the pool hall, you step down the steps, of course, but right at the step was the jukebox. And so I'm standing at the jukebox. I have people coming up behind me, pretty much like, boy, you don't know nothing about that. What you know about that, right? And I'm listening to, the song. And of course, I am listening to it because I'm waiting for that iconic part in No Pain, No Gain, right? When she hitting the high note at the end. I'm waiting for it. And so, anyway, long story short, that's what I did as a kid going to this club. And that has definitely been one of my memories that I am most fond of. I enjoy it. Telling that story. I mean, doing that definitely put a smile on a kid's face who, sometimes could have his sad moments, right? And so when I'm telling you guys that I really love this music and I'm very passionate about music, and for me, at a time when I'm discovering music from a creative standpoint, because of course I'm enjoying it, but when I hear about it from a creative standpoint, 89, 90, that's definitely is when all of this is kind of coming together for me, okay? Now, it's very important when it comes to Betty Wright, and I'll tell you why. Because in 1987, Betty Wright record, No Pain, at Mother Wit, it's a gold record for her, and she is, I guess, the first female artist to have a gold record, on her own label, Betty Wright. And so, of course, if you know Betty Wright, she's writing and producing her own music at this time. And for my family, my mother, my dad, my aunts and uncles, and everybody that my mom socialized with, I'm here to tell you, they would listen to R&B music every now and then, but their music of choice, even till this day, it's the blues and it's Southern soul. All right, played heavily in my household. Tyrone Davis, ZZ Hill, Lattimore, Millie Jackson. Do you understand what I'm saying? Bobby Blue Bland. Like that was it. That's the music, that's always played. So anyway, so now let me tell you more about Betty Wright and how she has played such a big part in my life. I'm young. I don't know what Betty Wright talking about. Y'all, what? I'm listening to it, but I have some kind of idea. I don't know. I was earning my man what I was learning my man. Something you younger girls might not understand. No pain, no gain. In order to get something, you got to give something. You got to go through something. You understand what I'm saying? Be a cook in the kitchen, a lady in the street. You can't show your teeth to every guy you meet. I'm like, what? But it sounds good. What I appreciate most about Betty Wright, and some of you guys can probably identify with this. This is what I love most about Betty Wright. To me, Betty Wright comes off like a grandmother, a mother, a sister, an aunt, your next door neighbor, your teacher, your first lady of the church. Like Betty Wright to me represents your younger sister, your older sister. Like Betty Wright represents to me when I was young. And as I have gotten older to appreciate Betty Wright is almost like every woman, right? She's every woman to me. Like Shaka Khan might sing it, but she's every woman Betty Wright is. I might just title that. It's not a coincidence that she named that record, entitled that record Mother Wit. Because when you hear a Betty Wright record, you get schooled, right? And I understand we talking about songs too, like Tonight is the Night and The Cleanup Woman, No Pain, No Gain, After the Pain. And then I discovered her with the next record. As you can see, I have both of these records for you to enjoy, From Joy to Pain, right? The Valley of the Lonely. Do you see what I'm saying? Keeping love new. You got to keep your love new. You know, ladies, take care of your take care of the clothes you wear. Don't forget to comb your hair. Take care of the clothes you wear. You know, fellas, keep on opening up those doors. Take care of that woman. She is yours. Don't forget that God will guide you through. He'll shine his light and blessings upon you. See, that's what I love about Betty Wright. You couldn't, she hit everything. She did. You know, Betty Wright to me is like the Dr. Maya Angelou of the blues. She definitely is. I remember a quote, and I don't know if Betty Wright got this from someone else, but I remember her saying this, and it has left such a lasting impression on me. I don't know if you can feel it, but I can feel it. And I have kept this quote with me. And she said, the way in which we relate will determine how the ship goes. Relationship. How we relate will determine how the ship goes. How the ship goes. And that's what I learned. She was not afraid to put in her music her struggles, her personal struggles. It had to have been. You know, wow. So I appreciate that about Betty Wright. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't know. Maybe it's something I have to go back and just kind of maybe journal. I might journal 1989, 1990 in my life. I would have to. Something definitely is taking shape in my life during that time. And I'm finding unspeakable joy in my life. I know that I am. I can't quite grasp it yet, but the people, the artists who inspires me at this moment in time in my life, it can't be a coincidence. I will show you, and if you read in the description box below, I talk about how that came about in my life. You know, music, how it came about in my life, like how I went from it entertaining me, music, and seeing people being entertaining me, like the Pointer Sisters. When I saw the Pointer Sisters, I was like, I got to do this. It looks fun. Like those ladies look like they're having fun. I have to do this. You know, when I see them in a video called, I think it's called, I'm So Excited. And I think that they're in a club. If I picture it correctly, I think they're in a club. And she's like, tonight's tonight, we're going to make it happen. And they're in the club, and I think they're dancing in the club or something like that. And I'm like, this looks like so much fun. And then when I come across Patti LaBelle, Dionne, Warwick, and Gladys Knight, Sisters in the Name of Love, I'm like, this is so much camaraderie. Like these ladies look like, they are enjoying what they're doing. Like they're sitting down, they're having conversations about life in general. And they all sing. Like that looks like a sisterhood, that looks like family. And then I see Lionel Richie. I wanted to dance on the ceiling. Lionel Richie made it look cool. I'm like, man, like Lionel Richie, like there's not a cooler cat to me than Lionel Richie. I mean, the brother is smooth as smooth can be. Like Lionel Richie. I'm just saying that, like, dude, do you know who you are? You cool. Like, so then I discover Angela Winbush. I still today don't know what it is about her of all people, but it was like her music spoke to me. Like when I hear Angel, I don't hear it like other people hear it, I guess. Like to me, it's God. Do you understand what I'm saying? When I hear it, that whole entire record to me, like when I hear and listen to Sharp, like the single on that record, the album Sharp, like I got to wake up the dead. I got to hook up my act. Like I'm sharp as a razor. If you want to be with me, you got to be right on T. Like to me, I got to give it all I got. And those are the lyrics to Sharp that I still remember, right? And so I discover Angela Winbush and I see all of the things that she's doing. And at the same time, what Angela Winbush is doing, Betty Wright is doing. Guess who else I discovered around this time, maybe a few years later, around 1994? Twinkie Clark of the Clark Sisters. I'm like, these people are, like, who are these people? That's how I'm thinking, like, this Twinkie Clark lady. And all I'm thinking is You Brought the Sunshine. I'm thinking like something about this song isn't right. And then my mother tells me, okay, so let me tell you a story. I think I've said this once before. So there I am. I would go to the store, and since I couldn't buy music because I wasn't, and nothing never dawned on me to tell my mother to buy music for me. I know she would have. I'm not thinking about it, right? So guess what I'm thinking? Mom, can I get some cassette tapes? My mama would buy the cassette tapes for me out the store. Guess what I would do with the cassette tapes? I would be up late at night, drove my mother's crazy because the radio is playing like at the wee hours of the night, like 11, 12, 1 or 2 o'clock at night, okay? And I'm listening for songs to come on the radio, and I wake up, I hit the record button, I go back to sleep or lay down when the song go off, and then I would do that. Right? And so that's how I got my music. And then, of course, I discovered there's a record store, and guess what? Every time I go to the mall, my mother, just like I would go to the jukebox at the club that they all went to when they having the baseball games. Guess what? I go into the mall. My mother didn't have to look for me. She knew where I was. Where is there a record store in here? Because I know that's where he is. He's at the record shop. And go in, sure enough. All right, baby, come on. It's time to go. We got to go. And that's it. But I'm discovering it. And that's how much of an impression and impact Betty Wright made upon my life. It's very personable with me when it comes to Betty Wright. Like, it's not just me being entertained. It's definitely inspiring on so many levels when it comes to Betty Wright, and then to, I guess maybe is it the early 90s? Is it the early 90s? I'm trying to think. I could be wrong. I don't want to be wrong. DJ Quick. I know he came up with a song called Tonight's the Night, and I know that song was, of course, Betty Wright's. It had to be the early 90s. It couldn't be, it's the early 90s. It has to be very early 90s that he comes up with, Tonight is the Night. And so when that comes up, it only made me like her even more because I'm like, oh, well, DJ Quick, has sampled the hook, Tonight is the Night, But now I have to admit, I definitely knew what Tonight is the Night is about. I mean, there was no, that was the song. That was a song as a kid at that age. You was uncomfortable. At least I was. I was uncomfortable listening to it when my parents around. Because they're playing it. I'm like, it was kind of like another song. What's the name of that song? Candy Liquor. Is it Marvin Cease? For you blues heads out there, Marvin Cease, I'm gonna lick you up. I'm gonna lick you down. Turn around, baby. Let me lick you all around. I'll lick you good like your lover should. I was like, oh my God, like y'all playing it. But see, that's my fault. And I'm gonna tell you why that's my fault. I'm at the card table, standing right there beside my mom and watching them all play cards. It's my fault. But I was like, you want to just tell them, because I'll change it. Like, it's just not. So, anyway, it is what it is. But Betty Wright, we love Betty Wright. I love Betty Wright. It's more than music for me. As I said, no pain, no gain. After the pain, it's just that you know me, but I don't know you. But one thing time has taught me is that having a piece of man is better than having no man at all. So I'm just going to take what I got and work with. Understand what I mean? Now, don't you remember just a few years when people used to find out that you was on the verge of breaking up, they used to cook up a little food and throw a little party and whisper things in your life. And I'm looking at this stuff happen right there in front of my face as a kid. I'm like, you can tell when somebody is in the doghouse because they would definitely put some food on. When we was little, you could tell. Like, what's going on? Oh, we just gonna put some stuff on the grill. I'm like, oh, okay, who done messed up around here? It was true. That's what I was like, oh my God. Betty. It was true. You were telling the truth. Mother wit. Mm-hmm. Right now, today, if I was to open it up, I mean, like when open it up, if I was to listen to the second record, For You to Enjoy, From Pain to Joy, he took me from pain to joy, unspeakable joy. It's God that she's talking about. All of my bad times are behind me. Oh my God. Like, I'm so glad I got the second chance at love. He took me from pain to joy and unspeakable joy. And I'm about to cry because it just means so much to me. Like, I can't explain it. And then I like the song Valley of the Lonely. The Valley of the Lonely, like it speaks. When I hear the song Valley of the Lonely, and the song says, why? Why won't you give your love to me when my love has come to set you free? You know that I know. Well, she says, all women are not the same. You barely know my name, and already you judge me by your past. But I'm from different stock, not just some new kid on the block. Like, whew, yeah. Yeah. So that's it. That's it. I know we are talking about, I should cover all that she's done musically, in her career. But like I said, to me, it's more personable than anything. I don't just talk about the artists here just to talk about them. I want you all to know out there that I really and truly do appreciate the R&B divas. I appreciate music. It is definitely music appreciation to me. People are people. I've learned that I've had to learn that. I learned a hard lesson in life, a very hard lesson in life. And that hard lesson that I had to learn is that people are people. People are human. And I had a tendency to put people on a pedestal, right? And what I mean by putting people on a pedestal, right now, I'll put it to you like this. All these things that Betty Wright has said, as I said, that, she comes off like every woman. We're all flawed. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I have had to learn, because we're talking about learning, Mother Wit here. I've had to learn that allow people to have their own thoughts, people can have their own feelings and their own actions. It has nothing to do with me. And sometimes in life you tend to hold on, or you how can I put it? Hang on every word that a person says, right? My story is that I always try to please people, and I would lose myself. And so for me today, when I say, and this is a perfect way to end. So when I say, put your behind where your heart desires to be, I mean it. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm putting my behind where my heart desires to be. I just desire to be right here, and I feel good about it. So for me, it's authentic. It's not some people do certain kind of marketing things, if you will, and try to make their channel pop, if you will. And let me do a little bit of this. Let me do a little bit of that. I believe in time. It will just all happen. Why? Because I'm putting my behind where my heart desires to be. You know what? And I really and truly do mean that. When it comes down to my mother, she would say, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. And that's what I'm saying. I love you. Understand that you're flawed. I've learned how to love myself unconditionally. I learned how to love other people unconditionally, because you know what? We're all God's children. We all belong to him. So I want to make sure that that God knows that I have treated his people good. Treating them good, right? Wow. Yeah. And I want to let people know. I don't have to preach to you about anything. I don't. See, I understand my purpose very clearly, and that is to let you know that God does love you. So I'm saying that today. He loves you. Betty Wright sings it. She sings about it. So today I'm telling you, God loves you. Matter of fact, he loves you best, better than any man could possibly love you. God loves you. And on that note, I think this is a wonderful place to end. And on that note, see you next video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's take this journey together, you all. And on that note, I'll see you next video. You all take care of yourselves out there.